I've had this bust of Elvis for over 40 years. The soundtrack to my life has been dominated by Elvis Presley. Never saw him live, but tonight I'm going to the premiere of Elvis Presley in concert at my local IMAX. It's going to be as close as I'll ever get. It promises to be epic. I have my Elvis t-shirt on. My family's coming with me. The show is almost sold out. Can you believe it? And yeah, I plan on going more than once. I said I was going to go more than once, and I did. I ended up attending 3 screenings at the IMAX to see Elvis Presley in concert. Epic. And it truly was an experience. The IMAX adds that other dimension that just can't be replicated in a regular theater, that I will be going to this weekend to see it with my friends. But those first nights at IMAX, unforgettable. The very first night I went with my wife and kids, nearly sold out crowd. Elvis was 50 feet tall, the sound booming through my chest. It was otherworldly. I actually went Friday night then on my own and got to experience different things that I didn't quite catch at the first viewing. I was able to take it in a little more and not so much be in shock. And then on the third visit, my favorite, where I began anticipating certain numbers in the movie, certain songs, and watching the crowd react the way I reacted, but was now observing those first 2 times. There are a couple of high energy numbers that Elvis does in this movie. And with the way it's edited and the sound booming through and his obvious joy on stage and seeing the crowd react within the movie, it really brought the crowd in the IMAX in that scene with him. It was really surreal. And it's an experience I won't soon forget. Here I am, 60 years old, and I'm still as fascinated and as excited about Elvis as I was when I first discovered him in the mid-70s. This era, okay, I didn't come upon him, I wasn't around in the 50s when he was a force of nature. But as a kid, seeing Elvis in these fantastic jumpsuits, it's like watching a superhero. And I'll never forget the day he died. I was home with my father, my sister, and my brother. And we heard the news on the radio. There was no internet. This is 1977. I was 11 years old. And I could not wait to tell my mother. I knew it was going to be a powerful piece of news. She came home maybe an hour or so after we had heard it on the radio. She came through that kitchen door and she was white as a ghost. I said, "Mom, Elvis died." And she said, "I was listening to the radio and I swerved into traffic." And I'll tell you, the silence in my house at that moment was very heavy. I'll never forget my father just sitting there, lost, my mother in disbelief. And at that moment, he became something more than just a guy I heard on the radio or a movie I'd see on TV. I had to know more. I had to know more why he was affecting my parents the way he did. And that moment began a lifelong journey for me, continues to this day, of exploring his music, watching his movies, and every few years Elvis seems to bubble up again in the pop culture. I'm glad I saw it. And I'm going to see it again unashamed. He was that impactful to me. And I still miss him. Jailhouse Rock. It wasn't easy being an Elvis fan that young. He had already peaked by the time I began my fascination with him, and he was dead shortly after. During my obsession, my learning curve, if you will, that was not an easy time. My friends were either listening to Ted Nugent, Styx, Journey. I was buying the Fun in Acapulco soundtrack and getting mocked for it. But I was on a mission. I just had to know more about this guy. And every turn I made in his career, I found something of value. Whether idealistic or not, what I learned about Elvis mattered to me. And it didn't stop there. I brought my fascination and my love of Elvis into my adult life. I was married on August 16th, 1996. And for those of you who were around, you know what that date is, August 16th. I guess it ensures I'll never forget my anniversary. In the months leading up to the wedding, I commissioned a company to make a replica jumpsuit of one of Elvis's concert outfits. It took a couple of months to do. They had to actually send the garment to me, and my wife had to measure. It took a couple of months of back and forth, but it turned out quite well. And I wore that at the reception, the wedding reception, where we were introduced for the first time as husband and wife. The jumpsuit still lives. It's a little bit weathered for the age, along with the concert belt. Okay. It seemed like a good idea at the time. When they introduced us as husband and wife, I came out and my wife had a bag full of white silk scarves that had our name and wedding date engraved on them. That was the wedding favor, one of them, for the guests. And I went table to table, tossing out scarves. It was quite a moment. As for the Elvis bust, 1978, I'm riding my 10-speed, and I'm passing a local gas station that has a pop-up display of several items for sale. This bust was one of them. I inquired of the price. It was $25. I don't know if it was a bargain at the time, but I rode my 10-speed home as fast as I could, got the $25 and rode back up as fast as I could. And with one hand on the handlebars and one hand holding Elvis, I rode home. It must have been quite a sight. This bust has been with me through my parents' house, my first apartment. He now resides in our forever home. He was on the cake table at our wedding reception. Some things you do carry with you. In this case, literally.